Hey, you nerds, and welcome back to The Gutter. It is Season 2, Episode 1 of The Gutter Nerds Podcast. My name is Steven. Joining me today are 3 Twitch streamers. First one is Corporate Cal.
Hello.
The next one is Racy Rogue.
What's up, guys?
And over on the end is Byronic Commando.
Why, hello there.
You will hear me refer to them as Calvin, Lauren, and Chuck as we go along. Chuck is holding up right now one of my Christmas presents from Legend of Cameron, who I don't think is in chat right now. But it is, just tell us what it is.
The Nicolas Cage adult coloring book by Angela Atkins.
Yes, hold it straight
camera.
forward if you don't mind. Yes.
I thought that was a coloring
now,
book of me.
It says
I think it makes me look very, very young.
You need a pet.
very adult. I don't know why it says adult coloring book. It's got Nicolas Cage on it. Of course, it's an adult coloring book.
Does he get naked in it?
I don't see a
there-
fucking porn. I don't see a porn.
You're on LSD. We spiked all of your shots with LSD. So, what you been playing, guys?
Now-
And you guys in chat, what have you been playing?
You know
hey,
what?
Puck already asked you, but tell us again.
You know what I haven't been playing?
What have you
I
been
haven't
playing?
been playing with Stevo.
God damn it.
That's really...
I fucking...
I haven't been playing with Stevo either.
In the pre-stream, everybody, I appreciate you guys wanting me to play with you. I appreciate it. I don't dislike that you guys want me to play with you.
Hey, Steven.
Yes.
I don't want to play with you.
Thank you. Someone who doesn't want to fucking play. Yes. Chuck.
I want to play with you.
I just want
Thank
you to
you.
watch me.
No, but with a back on point, I have been playing, of course, League of Legends and PUBG. Currently, I've been doing the quest to get the emote because I haven't had time in League of Legends to play it otherwise.
Right.
And then on the sideway, getting chicken dinners as we go.
Okay, excellent. Have you had chicken recently?
I'd like
Have you engaged with a chicken recently?
2 days ago, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was good. It was delicious.
So she's the same as Cal. Haven't been playing with Stevo. Stevo doesn't want to play with us. That, you guys are absolutely crazy. What have you been playing, Lauren? You started streaming, inaugural
I started
stream.
streaming. I actually restarted Mafia 3. I did a test with Mafia 3, but I've been starting to stream Prey, and I'm actually being good to my viewers and not playing it when I'm not streaming. So now I have to finish Mafia 3,
Right.
and then I have to play Arkham.
Yes.
Because
Arkham
after we talked about
Arkham Knight.
Arkham Knight,
Yeah.
because I can't find City or anything else.
They're there. They remade them for the new consoles. Daywall asks, how do I get that jam pill on top of Master Chief's head? You have to be friends with Just Gravy Baby, and then have it be your birthday, and then you will get Gunner's
Flip
pillow.
that shit over.
Yeah, they each have sayings on the other side of it. This one says, quiet on the goddamn set. This one, actually, I'll just turn around and have it sit there turned around. There we go. I'll just leave that up there. Say, if it's too blurry, it says, stop saying hi to Nightbot.
Hi, Nightbot!
Always say hi to Nightbot.
But I don't know if depending on how much these are, maybe this is something we could make and sell.
Put in the shop.
I can make these, but it's gonna be a while.
Oh yeah, you can see at the bottom of the frame there's a clock.
There's a Gunner's
like a Gunner's
clock.
Oh,
By
that'd
the
be
way,
pretty sweet.
quiet on the goddamn set. It
Yeah.
goes,
You can
'cause
hear the
taking-
snapping behind
No,
you.
I'm just like,
My tinnitus. What have you been playing, Chuck?
Warframe, primarily.
How goes the Warframe?
It goes.
Yep.
I've hit a snag, not a snag. I guess I've hit kind of a plateau on my leveling, and then as soon as I'm done maxing out all that equipment, I'm just going to sell it off because my forge queue is like 5 deep, and I don't have space for anything anymore. So I got to sell all that shit off so I can start playing with new toys.
Daywall says, "Hey, Just Gravy Baby, did Jonathan come in and I miss it? Did he say hi?"
I
Jonathan's on
think-
it.
I think
Or he
it's
was
a
just saying hey
shout out.
because of the shout out. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. Just Gravy Baby is in the middle of the ocean right now.
Yeah, he is.
We threw him overboard.
Did you hit the board?
He's...
Did you see?
No,
That
but,
monster Chuck swatting porgs.
I like that it's on Calvin's arm.
if there were, I'll get into. You know what? Each and every last one of you can punch me in the dick right now.
He said we can.
I hated the porgs. I hated the porgs. We'll
Hold
get
on.
into that.
We'll get into
Wait. Jar Jar? Porgs.
No. Those are way too. Those are completely different.
Come on.
things.
Completely
No.
different.
Nope.
Well,
I want to put them on the same level for Chuck only. I know Calvin will get into it. Jar Jar? Porgs.
what's you're saying? Which one does he like better, hate more? What's the?
Which one would you rather keep?
Oh, okay. If you had to keep one.
I'd rather keep the porgs.
Good.
Okay.
That's all I wanted.
So, I've been playing The Surge. This morning...
I know you have, you asshole.
This morning, while I was playing, one of the devs joined my stream, gave me a few pointers, and then there's a clip, because at one point my character comes out onto like a stage, and I was like, okay, everybody, listen to my TED Talk. The robots in this area fucking suck. That's my TED Talk. Come at me. And then the monsters came at me, or the robots came at me and killed me. And they wrecked me. And so the Y-Wolf, who's one of the good noodles, made a clip of that, and the dev Deck 13's Twitter account tweeted that clip.
That's awesome.
It was pretty cool. That was my super like awesome.
Your TED Talk of the day.
Yeah, my TED Talk of the day.
Getting
it was
wrecked.
really cool. So I've been doing that.
Why can't I ever get a dev on my stream?
It's just luck. Also, the Surge devs are pretty interactive with people, like on Twitter and on Twitch. So if you stream the Surge more...
Where were they when I was playing Lords of the Fallen?
Yeah, I would think that they would show up to an LOF stream. I would think that they would. But Surge and I got to play console PUBG with Lithic, and I've been playing solo, and I got top 2 in solo a couple times.
I've gotten top 5 in 1.0.
Something I noticed that I don't see the PCers do it, but I see the console fucks do it, is that when it gets down to like the final 5, they all get in cars and they're just driving around and shit. And so I'm like sitting there and I'm like both times that I got to top 2, it was me and one dude in a car that was just driving around.
You were in a car driving around like a shipwreck?
He was just driving around, and so finally I'm like, okay, I waited for him to sort of square up with me so I could try and shoot him through the windshield, and I'm not a great shot, so I died both times.
Wow. Come on, bro.
But it was a little frustrating.
I was really embarrassed to die on
says,
stream.
I want to play with you, Stevo. I don't, however, want to carry you. And Fortnite. I've been playing both Fortnite Battle Royale, and Sarah and I have been playing Zombie Mode, or the Save the World, which is super fun. You build stuff,
the one that you have to pay
you
for.
defend. Yeah. It'll be free this year, though.
Good.
So, were you going to say something before I start asking about Last Jedi stuff?
No. I was
Are you
just saying
sure?
I was really embarrassed to die on stream. And I shouldn't have.
No, don't.
But it happened like 4 or 5 times, and I'm like, and this is what sucks about Bethesda, because it takes so long to load.
Here's a
It
quick...
was like that for like 10 minutes.
Quick tip for all you streamers. Don't worry about being good. Just worry about being entertaining. Just be fun. That's it.
Matter of fact, I have found that my streams are better when I suck, because the more I suck, apparently the more entertaining I am.
I curse a lot. A lot. A lot more than I thought I would.
More than you thought you would. Is it just from nerves?
I don't know. I really...
Were you nervous the first stream?
I was so... Well, after I tested, because I knew nobody was going to watch me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do what I do. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to hit everybody like it's Grand Theft Auto. And so I'm like swerving in between cars, and I'm making sure I hit everybody.
Oh, Caldane did a top cheer, 1101. Not anymore, he says. Thank you for the cheer. What is this bullshit? I've been beaten out onto... Okay, yep. Wow. I love... War away. Go right ahead.
Go
Thank
nuts.
you. Thank you, Caldane. Both for your resub and for the cheer. Okay, so... Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi. We're going full spoilers here. I'm not gonna... Usually we sort of tell the story of the film and then break it down, but I'm not gonna do that this time. We're mostly just gonna be real nitpicky, but I will get some quick overall stuff from you guys. Overall, did you like it or not?
Yeah.
No.
I did. Of course not.
You did?
Calvin's always
You did?
the negative.
No?
I did not like it at all. No.
At all?
No.
No redeeming aspects of it whatsoever? We might be able to find some when we start digging.
Okay,
but...
it was shot well.
Okay, interesting.
There were some cool scenes that like looked pretty, and it was good.
It was pretty.
That was pretty.
It's the most... I think it's the most colorful Star Wars film.
Why?
Probably of all of them.
Because
It's certainly the most dynamic.
Because Snoke's room looked like it was in the planetarium at the Omni.
Colorful
That was
how?
awesome. I love it.
Colorful how?
I mean colorful in that like each sort of scene had sort of its own coloring to it, and it didn't seem like the whole film was shot with one filter. Each scene and locale had its own palette.
So lots
It's
of
colorful,
Snapchat
like,
filters.
A lot of Snapchat filters.
colorful,
Snapchat
just
Star
like
Wars.
like a new age Toth planet that's just salt instead, just new.
I thought that was weird.
Sorta.
I thought the Salt Planet was the weirdest part.
So there's
because
some cool
it was
stuff.
just like the blood trail, and I'm like, What the fuck is that?
Again, that's
It's
so
salt.
fucking dynamic.
That's the planet.
I was just what the fuck?
I was on the fence the first time. If you did not like the film and I mentioned this on my own Facebook page. If you didn't like the film the first time, you're not going to like it after second viewing. But if you were on the fence, I will tell you the second viewing is so much better. It is a lot better than the first one.
Is that because you vented the hate out of your heart the first time?
There's
gave
two
it a second
things.
chance?
There are two things that you have to fight when you go watch this movie. One is expectation, and that's a big one. And one is what was the other one? I don't remember. But we have to fight expectation. The producer just laughed at us. Laughed at me because I couldn't remember what it was. You have to fight expectation, but also the first time I saw it, like, there was a lot of stuff that I didn't pick up on. There's a lot of stuff in the edges of the frame that you can look at and notice, and it took 2 viewings to sort of like let things sink in. Yeah. So the second time I watched it, I loved it. So there's that. The new people that came in, hello. I meant to say hi to Callie, and Shark is here too. Hello, Shark. Shark is our artist. If you guys need any logo work, she does commissions. So hit her up, and she'll make you something, and it's fantastic stuff.
Always.
And the next question is going to be, okay, so this is probably going to be the most contentious part of what I ask you guys if you liked or not. Story, the actual things that happened. Like it, not like it.
I really liked this story.
Yeah?
And I never thought I would actually say that about a Star Wars movie.
Yeah?
Because
you're not a big Star Wars guy.
I'm not a big Star Wars guy. I mean, I like it.
Sure.
I like...
You wouldn't cosplay as a Jedi, though.
I mean, there is a picture of me dressed like Wilson Fisk.
Oh, you were holding a lightsaber
with a red
as Wilson
lightsaber.
Fisk. Yeah, that's
because
true.
that was badass
right.
looking.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, the story is just kind of fallen stale for me with all the repetition that's been going on with the fan base and with everybody just constantly regurgitating over and over and over again. So the kind of beats that the story The Last Jedi takes, when he says you need to just leave your expectations completely out of your viewing of The Last Jedi, he means it in every aspect. You have to take everything that you know about Star Wars.
And in some cases, everything you love about Star Wars.
We'll get back to that.
And this is where I'm going to come into play on Chuck's expectations about a movie, about Star Wars, about things that you've grown up and you're passionate about and you love. And the fact that, hold on, Chuck, the fact that you have to go to a movie and you're going in there and you're like, man, I have so much passion and care for a movie. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go take a huge dump and get rid of everything in my system to appreciate what this movie is.
That was what the whole story of The Last Jedi was about.
So it's taking a huge dump because they couldn't come up with anything
better. No, that's precisely it. Like, look at what happens throughout the story. Everything that happens is a subversion of what we have expected from the Star Wars franchise since 1977.
You have multiple characters on both sides. You have Luke and Kylo flat out looking in the camera and telling you this shit needs to end. You have to burn it all down and you have to start new.
All over again.
It is a chase scene for 2 hours.
There is, so yeah.
It is a chase scene that is back and forth on planets and people being chased for 2 hours.
You know,
I'm not gonna be able to convince you guys to like it or not. But go ahead. Yes, on story. Go ahead.
Can I ask a question?
Ask away.
Did you like Lord of the Rings?
It was okay.
What was that? What was that?
Sorry. Okay, so
and
you're
this is what
complaining.
it just
said the exact same thing.
Ryan Johnson took everything you were holding on to and decided it was time to move on.
That's why I liked it.
Luke, the end of The Force Awakens, an iconic ending to a movie where Rey is about to give Luke his lightsaber back. You have to wait a couple of years to see the next scene, which is he takes it and literally throws it the fuck over his shoulder.
That's the best. I was just like, ah!
And this is the thing. The first time I watched it, I had a you reaction, which was like, oh. And then the second time, I was like, Oh.
But
So,
see that. Wait.
I still remember that first scene. I was like, because Peter's sitting next to me, I'm like,
I
I just started laughing. I was like, oh. It was great.
APOC says Lord of the Rings is greater than Star Wars for him.
See, but-
That's fine.
I gotta hold back because
That was
like,
the whole thing, the race and the getting to the volcano, and then it was
That's
just like
different-
8
that's
different endings. And
That's
anyway,
Okay,
it's
so
also based on a set series.
yeah,
The book series. The series that was like set, and that's going to be your ending no matter what.
yeah.
So you can't really compare that.
go ahead.
Okay. No,
How about The Walking Dead?
Go ahead.
Like things happen in
Go ahead.
season 2.
But we're talking about Star Wars right now.
Yes.
You just
No, but that
mean,
is
you're
that
comparing
is
for an
based
anime
off
movie for-
let me-
that
let
is
me
based
decode
off
here.
of a book franchise.
But let me decode here. Calvin's not saying that he doesn't like, movies or books that are like where the whole thing takes place. And this movie doesn't really, I would argue, that point. But a huge portion of the movie is the rebels trying to outrun the Empire and they can't. And so that focus on what is essentially one event seems decidedly un-Star Wars to you, because Star Wars is usually planet to planet and moving around and seeing what's happening over here. Now we're doing this thing and on a different thing, and they do move around. There's a lot of different
They're
places and
jumping.
stuff,
There's
but
jumping around,
that
yes.
singular focus seems un-Star Wars to you, and that is
And bringing
totally fair why you don't like that. That is also decidedly un-Star Wars, which is also the point of this film.
yeah, and that's how I'm looking at it.
I'm not saying you have to like the
No,
point. I'm not
no.
saying you have to like the point.
That's fine.
But it's consistent with the theme, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing with that, but I'm also saying
Yeah, I'm not saying you have to like it.
disagreeing.
I'm not
I
going
don't
to convince
it
you
all.
like it or not. Steve and I have a friend, Joseph Nobles comes in, a friend who called Star Wars a nostalgia fest, and I told him that Last Jedi treats nostalgia like the Death Star. Yeah. And if you think about the movie, had multiple sections of storylines. If you have Rey and Ben, Rose and Finn, all the rest of the Resistance escaping. So, one thing that I do want to touch on before we move on from story is the specific Finn and Rose plot line. And the reason I bring it up is because I want to fight back a couple of things that I've read online, a couple of people saying things about it. But I want to know what you think first, specifically the Finn and Rose storyline. Chuck.
You don't
Good
care.
with it? Don't care? Doesn't matter?
You don't care.
Have no thoughts on it?
Okay, I'm just going to lay this out now. There was one part of this movie that resonated with me so deeply that I literally wept when it happened. We're probably not going to mention this thing until I bring it up. But it, like every other aspect of this movie, kind of pales in comparison to that one thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you want my opinion on the whole Finn and Rose thing?
Yeah.
I like how low key. Like I didn't even consider it a romance. Everybody called it a romance, and for me, it was.
I don't
just,
think I would say that.
Like I saw, like right there at the very, very end, she goes, "You protect what you love," and then she kisses him, and then I thought she died, and then apparently she just passed out, and they were able to drag her
So
out.
the kiss was unnecessary.
No, it was entirely unnecessary.
You could have left that out and it would have been just as fun.
Sure.
The casino plot was butt though, and this is what I'm about to push back on. So how did you feel about the storyline? The going to the casino,
Finn-
looking for the
okay.
hacker,
So-
that bit.
I thought the Finn and Rose relationship was fine because there needed to be disconnect between Finn and Rey.
Okay.
Personally,
That's fair.
why it was in there. However, touching on your point,
I also like
I
Ben Swallow.
agree.
That was
I
fun.
don't think it's a love. I think she actually has like a friendship relationship, and I mean,
Oh, it's not a romantic
it's not
love,
romantic.
and that it,
Now, a lot of people see it differently. I don't
Sure.
kiss my friends on the mouth,
sure.
but I do kiss
Some
some of
people
my
do.
friends.
Yeah.
And
Question.
so,
Yeah, go for it.
So, then why did they represent them as like a couple in the first
Did
Force
they?
Awakens? They represented
Did they?
They're not
Finn
like
and
a
Rey?
couple. They very close. Yes.
Finn and Rey? Okay.
Um,
Finn
In the Force Awakens, they
Finn was
they
definitely
projected
crushing.
lots of feelings towards Finn going after her in that movie.
Finn was crushing on
And
Rey.
then it goes into The Last Jedi,
And
where he's still looking for her and cares about her, is very passionate about finding her and trying to seek her out, and then they just kind of throw it away.
But
Well-
mostly because I from what I saw, at least in The Last Jedi, it seemed like he saw her not so much as a potential love interest, but also, he knows how important she is to the Resistance or to the Jedi Order.
It just
This
says
was
that
gonna be my point.
it just says that Finn and Rose was not a romance,
No.
that it was a charged scene.
Yeah.
And Joseph was going to bring up what my point was going to be was that Finn was attracted to Rey at the beginning of The Force Awakens, but she constantly swatting him away, but not in a get away from me, but in a this is not a romance kind of thing.
Right.
But he adores her as a friend. And so this is what I'm going to say about the storyline. You said the casino thing was butt.
Okay.
I don't believe that. I think it could have been done better.
Daylol, I will have an explanation for that scene.
Okay.
I will.
The Finn and Rose storyline has been described as useless. If you cut it out of the movie, nothing changes. First of all, nope, that's not true. So, two very important things. And one thing, I got this from a Twitter thread that and this is the thing that I loved about The Last Jedi, is that through discussion I began to appreciate it more. And that is what I love. That's why I love Dark Souls so much, is I can take a thing and I love it, and then talk to other people and learn more. Things I didn't notice, and awesome, build around that. So, in Finn and Rose's storyline has a direct impact on the Resistance because they get them all killed, because their plan fails. They get there, the guy turns on them, he gives the information about the fleeing Resistance, and they start bombarding the escape as they escape to the planet. Right. That wouldn't have happened if they hadn't left. Which also goes along with the theme of Finn needing to trust us. We have and again, Laura Dern is a stand-in for Rian Johnson here a little bit. Trust me, I got this. I don't have to explain shit to you. I don't have to explain where fucking Snoke came from. You know the first 3 Star Wars movies, 4, 5, and 6? Mm-hmm. They didn't explain where the Emperor came from. He was just an old dude, and he was mean. There. And he was mean. But they did make 3 prequels about the rise of the Emperor, and they fucking sucked. So you don't need a backstory on Snoke. That's my...
Yeah.
There. The other thing, this is the part that I got from Twitter that I really appreciated, is Finn's arc comes from that storyline. He's not part of the Resistance at the end of 7 or at the beginning of 8. The reason he goes to help Starkiller Base is to get Rey back, get his friend. Mm-hmm. And that's where he's going in 8. He's still not a rebel. He just wants to get his friend and get out. And that's why they go to the casino, he sees the shit, he sees what the war has done to people, he sees the income disparity, and that's why that line is so important when Phasma says, "You're scum," he goes, rebel scum. That's his arc. He's now joined the cause. And that's why Hacker Dude was to challenge those notions.
Benicio del Toro.
Who's brilliant.
I
love him.
Man.
So next question, performances.
If I'm gonna talk up anybody's performance, it's gonna be Benicio del Toro, because I was so overwhelmed by his presence. I was like, is that who I think it is? Oh my god. Like, I got goosebumps. I was looking at Peter. I was like, is that Benicio del Toro? I was freaking out.
It's a collector.
But then it amounted to nothing. So I'm wholeheartedly expecting in another movie that he's gonna be some big character, because he's.
But you're doing that thing though.
I know.
You don't need an explanation for every character.
I don't want an explanation.
You got enough
I just
want
to see him more.
You liked him so much that you wanted to see more of him. Okay.
It's like BB-8.
Totally fair.
It's like BB-8. You don't necessarily have to have BB-8.
Hackers
it's great
are
when
always
you do.
cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, and APOC, totally cool, man. Like, absolutely. If Star Wars is not your thing, feel free.
Oh,
you guys feel free.
It's not that.
But we love you.
Yes.
Yeah, he just hasn't seen it, so he has no fucking idea
Totally
what we're talking about.
And so, for me, it's not that I needed a background. It's not because I was like, I wholeheartedly think that they're going to use him because, one, he's not an A-lister, but he's a pretty big name.
I don't know. I think Benicio del Toro's probably
he's up there.
Material.
He's up there.
Yeah.
I won't put A, B, C on him.
Like, this guy was in The Usual Goddamn Suspects.
Yeah.
But being in the movie, for me, I was expecting, like, something of his character to be, like, a big enemy.
To have a connection to something bigger?
Something later on down the line, something later on in the movie. You know, like, haha, you thought I betrayed you. But no, like, he did.
No, like, him actually betrayed. And that was two things. Well, okay, before we get there. Performances. And also, there is a Citizen Kane reference with the Daylal asked about the Million Rays. Do you want to reference that before we go on to performances? Okay.
No, because what I'm about to do, like, that will take a significant chunk of time.
Take some time.
Yeah.
Performances. People did well. Who did well? Who didn't do well?
Phasma was underplayed.
Man.
I just want to see more Phasma.
I love her so much.
Yeah, I thought that was.
But the performances, the acting though,
I thought the acting was okay. I wasn't like, wow, this is fucking amazing. But it was okay.
So I love Carrie Fisher, but I think Rian Johnson got a better performance out of Carrie than J.J. Abrams did.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about Carrie Fisher.
No. Let's finish the character thing because we'll talk
the
about
performances
it. I'm gonna
before
cry,
we get to specific scenes,
and then it won't be okay.
Okay.
I personally, I know
anybody that you did not.
Ben Swallow, I really hated Adam Driver with the shirt off.
You mean the shirt off scene?
No.
Or you don't like Adam Driver at all?
No, I
didn't like
okay,
the
it's really
dynamic
difficult.
between them.
In this movie,
Yeah.
I felt like they were more concerned with his shirt off than they were his acting. And so I feel like he underplayed. No. I feel like because of the whole jumping between, oh, we can't control this, oh, I can see you now, that whole thing, I feel like Adam Driver didn't play as well of Kylo Ren than he did in the last,
What would you have wanted from him?
honestly, I hate to say it because it sounds so stupid. I wanted more of the emotional teenager where he was like
The freak out.
Yes.
But see, this is again.
What are you talking about? He was emo Ren the whole damn movie.
He is
The whole damn movie he was emo.
He does have an arc though, and he does try to grow up.
He
At the
tries to
beginning
grow
of
up.
the film, Snoke's like, take that ridiculous thing off. He freaks out and he has a tantrum and he breaks it. And that's the villain of today is that entitled
And then he tries to make a friendship.
that sense of entitlement.
I will say maybe to me it didn't seem like a high enough because you usually see the progression of I'm reforming, I'm trying to be a better person. You see the progression. I feel like there wasn't. It was like a jump instead of a progression.
But this is the thing is I got to see something I hadn't seen in a Star Wars movie that I wanted to see, which is I saw the apprentice turn on the master to act not to save his own son, but to actually try to take over. And that's why I love Kylo Ren's character so much. And I think Adam Driver did a great job on his arc because he learned, and sort of on the flip side of the coin that Luke did, was that all of this shit's got to stop. So I'm going to do it. Luke's like no one's going to do it, but Kylo's like I'm going to do it.
I saw Kylo more as a... It needs to stop because it needs to evolve from here, and I'm going to be the one to do it. The old system for the dark side has always been, I'm going to be the one that takes control.
Yeah.
That is the way the dark side has always been. It has always been a quest for power. So Snoke has been the last vestige of that on the dark side. And with him getting killed, like... Kylo completes the circle, but at the same time, now he has taken that destiny entirely in his own hands to redefine it as he sees fit.
And Robotical Nick says, Luke would have sucked straight from that walrus titty had Rey not been there cramping his stomach.
Most likely, yes.
Okay, crack me up. Hello, Robotical Nick, who's also on Red 6 to Golden Crow. Game Guy has a problem with, and this is sort of a thing that I noticed just in movies in general, and I noticed it, we watched Bright last night. Was that if you show someone as being badass or have some sort of... He's talking about Phasma's armor being made from that silver ship that was in episode, I think, 1, that they landed on Tatooine from. The Emperor or whoever gifted the armor to her from that ship, whatever. You actually see a blaster bolt deflect off of it like it didn't do shit. Mm-hmm. So he wants to know how the fuck did a janitor kick her ass. And that is movie plot hole. The same thing happened in Bright last night where you have these elf characters and they're super fast and they go through a team of SWAT members, slicing them up. And then they get to Will Smith, who's just a beat cop, and he's fighting them with no training. You know what I mean? And it's main character movie syndrome. So that is absolutely fair. I want to give a game of that. Yeah.
I want to know, since you're
technically we're still on performances, so
on performances as well.
But go ahead.
Oh well. I was
but
gonna say
tell me
with
your
Adam Driver is then, and you just brought up a minute ago with Snoke. Well, Adam Driver's having his tantrum, and they're in the middle of fighting, and he's all powerful, and he just turn the lightsaber on.
See,
that kills him. That's bullshit.
Here's my defense on that,
because there's no defense on that.
That was one of the only things that I actually thought was legitimate about as Kylo Ren, because you saw it shaking. you saw it before it happened. You didn't know what was going to happen, but you saw the lightsaber, like, he was trying to focus, and then it happened.
Okay, so, but my next question is that if Snoke has been so powerful and manipulating the timeline and manipulating them seeing each other and holding hands and basically, jerking each other off and trying to figure each other out, okay? If that's happening at the same time, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait, I'm going to twist this lightsaber and turn it on. You're going to die, motherfucker.
So,
that's the dumbest scene to me.
I can kind of answer that. I can kind of answer that.
All powerful, and then a little...
Kylo Ren is entirely instinct. Entirely instinct. No training on his own.
No.
So,
Kylo Ren,
hey, Miku, welcome. Welcome, Miku.
Kylo Ren has training.
Little.
Has more training than Rey.
True.
Has more training than Rey, but Rey is more powerful. Right. How does that work out? Yeah, she's the one being thrown around by the Snoke, and then all of a sudden...
honestly, I think that's
garbage.
I think that is you really you need training in order to
control the Force.
So both Rey and Kylo were like terribly naturally powerful.
Yes,
that's why Luke was afraid of Kylo. Hey, there's just gravy, baby.
Training does not equal power.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miku.
So Kylo also is being trained not for. The Sith don't train to the best of your abilities.
No.
They train to be guard dogs. And so that's what Snoke is trained in to be a guard dog.
Rey was more powerful than Kylo?
I don't know that they said Rey was more powerful than Kylo. Maybe they did, but
honestly, I think this is one of the messages that the movie is trying to tell us. With The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, and hopefully with the next one, they carry this through where here is the new generation of fans. We have the opportunity to take this and make of it whatever we wish. Yeah. We don't have to listen to what anything
we don't have to listen to
over the
fans.
Past 2 decades.
Yeah.
We don't have to listen to any of that shit.
More, last 4.
The last 4 decades. We don't have to listen to any of that.
Yeah.
We can make our own decisions about what this is. And we have that great natural power on us already. Because there have already been all those decades of people. But just because we have all of these people that are telling us all this stuff, that doesn't necessarily mean that we ourselves have to immediately follow suit.
So to finish on here before moving on to some other stuff, as far as performances go, and if anybody has anything else to add in on performances, by all means. I thought that Ryan got a great performance out of pretty much everyone. General Hux bothered me because at first I didn't like that grandiose old, we will destroy you with big mouth movements. No. And so
you get it? You by the end of the movie, you got it, didn't you?
I don't know that I did.
Really? Okay.
This is the thing. The more things that I ask about, and this is where we're going to play a little game in a little bit called explanation or justification.
I'm gonna shine a little light on this one for you.
Whenever I have a problem with something, I talk to someone about it, I always come to realize that it was probably deliberate, and you don't have to like it.
Right.
But this is the artist's prerogative we talked about last season, which is like, oh, at least it was deliberate. It was done with thought.
All right. So consider this: we've had a whole movie and a half now of General Hux being grandiose space Hitler. And then when Snoke dies, there's now this power vacuum. Yeah. And Hux gives in because he's about to get killed by the thing that he thought he was more powerful than.
Yeah.
And the first words out of his mouth were calling Kylo Ren Supreme Leader. But it gets better from here because later, when they were shooting the ever-loving shit out of Luke on the Salt Planet, that was when Kylo Ren, really lost his shit, point every gun at that man and fire. And he's like, keep firing! And then finally, General Hux is the one that tells everybody to stop shooting. Yeah. That's enough. Yeah. That's enough! And then everybody finally stops shooting.
Yeah.
So, what's going on here is 2 things. For starters, General Hux is Starscream. He's the one that will kind of go along with you, but you better keep your fucking back to the wall when it comes to him. And secondly, he is not afraid of exercising the power that he has over others. Because even though he recognizes how powerful the Force is, he also recognizes that he's the one in charge of the First Order.
Yeah.
there's only one other person that he answers to now, and it's the whiny dude with a really big sword.
Right.
So there's actually some good characterization going with Hux.
Okay.
And it was really fun watching Domhnall Gleeson play into that.
So that is pretty interesting. And so the direction now. There are a lot of subtle things in the film that took me, sometimes some things I caught the first time, some things the second time. There was one specific scene I want to talk about in direction first, which stood out because there is a moment where when they're on the final planet, about to make their last stand on the salt planet, and it's sort of like handy cam, like running through the trenches, you know? It's almost like a first person, it's almost like a scene from Battlefront.
When they lick the salt.
And right before, because then it goes back to sort of that traditional cinematic, you know?
Right.
But that scene at first stood out to me as odd. That it was in there that quickly, and that there wasn't more of that playing with the camera and scenes and stuff, because the rest of it seemed pretty traditionally shot. Do you know what I'm talking about? Do you know the scene that I'm talking about? They're coming out as the First Order is approaching with their walkers, and there's like, it's maybe 2 or 3 seconds of like someone holding a camera and running through the trenches. And then it goes back to like steady cam, you know. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I have an idea of what you're talking about. I'd have to see the scene again.
JB,
Steven.
I don't have a way to pull this up, and I can't even show it, but he did alter his beard, and perhaps
That is amazing.
we can show it to you guys very soon.
That is super styling, dude.
It's something. You look amazing.
I tried that
Jonathan.
once, and a guy at work called me Wolverine.
It looked like or Wyatt Earp.
Yeah.
Or something.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we're gonna talk about a couple of scenes for the next, 10-ish minutes or so. Some that you have a problem with, some that you want to explain. We'll start with you. I know the biggest thing, the most annoying thing about the film for you was probably something that a lot of, I guess it depends on your feelings about like Carrie Fisher and stuff, but not that anybody like disliked her, but
Yes, this is good.
I think that having referenced it sort of over the last 30 years,
I need to go
actually
last.
getting to see it, I thought was cool. But you thought
Yes,
that.
me.
Tell me your thought.
So
You're wrong, but tell me your thought.
Oh, okay. That's right. Hey, that's okay.
As long as he's already aware.
And the scene that he's being described right now is where the spaceship is being shot and exploded, and Carrie Fisher is blasted out the window into space, and all of a sudden, you see her, Carrie Fisher, floating alone by herself in the cold, dying. And you know what? She's in her motion. Her body is freezing, and all of a sudden she's like doo doo doo, and she's like Superman's her way using the Force. Okay, flying along in space
Will you do that
into the
one more
window. No, I don't do encores with it. Okay,
Oh my God.
and being taken back onto the ship in the vacuum of space where you can't breathe. Okay, and back onto the ship, and she's just in a Force coma.
Okay.
Which is now it's understood in the past, Chuck, that. Thank you. Yes, game guy. Okay.
He yelled to the window is what he yelled for those of you listening.
Now we understand in the past that she has a connection with the Force. She can feel the Force, but has it ever been addressed that she can use the Force? No. Can all of a sudden
Yes.
she met where? What movie?
Return of the Jedi. At the very end, everybody's back on the Forest Moon of Endor, and like Han's like, man, I really hope that Luke makes it out of there. And then you just kind of see Leia stare off in the distance a little bit and go, he's okay.
Again, I just said she has a connection with the Force.
What
addressed
Calvin's
that.
referencing is that she can sense things, but can't manipulate objects the way that others can.
Because
but
she's
this
not that
is,
strong
but this
in
is
the
the brilliant
Force.
thing.
So
is
what's the
that
split in time between the Return of the Jedi and the Force Awakens?
like 40 years? So this is sort of the thing, is that the movie never said she couldn't. Like, they didn't say she couldn't. You assumed she couldn't. And this is part of that expectation.
Yeah.
Is that this is now the payoff. This is the twist. It's
Was that
she
twist,
was
that
able
scene
to.
the payoff for you? Was that an amazing scene
I
to
think-
you?
I think
I
for-
thought that scene was
I think for people that
absolute
wanted to
trash.
see Carrie do something amazing
No,
was very.
amazing.
I actually
Yeah.
have to agree with Calvin.
Yeah.
And it really scares me. I'm sorry, guys.
it was
Interesting.
absolutely
I agree with him in the sense of
It just,
we
I'm
didn't-
with you. Subconscious self-protection. That was sort of the way I had read it in my first study. But please go ahead.
I agree with that as well, but I also agree with just Gravy Baby. It has been 30 years since we've seen her, period. 30, 40 years, movie and real life. But in movie, my thought was it's not force sensitive. It's actually being a twin. Because there's actually like research and stuff of twins being able to
have that connection,
Right?
Just naturally.
Joseph Noble says that scene made me cry. Then after it was over, I distinctly heard Carrie Fisher from The Great Beyond say "bibbidi bobbidi boo."
So I actually agree with Calvin. I think that it was a little overdone. Sure. I think if there was build up where she's like if she was shaking something and somebody came in the room and then it stopped, then okay, it's like, hey,
you have an idea.
We're getting a snippet. Okay. And then all of a sudden, she's able to pull herself out of zero gravity and the vacuum of space. I would have totally agreed with it. Okay. However, I also feel that this should have been her out.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly. That is that's also my other point. That should have been her out for the movie. She has passed on. God bless her soul. Okay, we have lost Carrie Fisher, and putting her in the next movie is going to be impossible.
I feel that CGI is not going to.
I wouldn't worry about what's going to happen yet. It's tough to. It's tough to speculate.
Fisher, I'm going to worry a little bit.
You're right. Yoda's going to come back again.
Okay, so
I thought that was overdone.
We're going to play a quick little game here. Some of these are from Caldane. We're going to play a little game called Explanation or Justification. And if you guys, I'm going to get some, these are some plot holes or some things that were annoying to Caldane. And me. You guys let me know, probably you. Let me know if my explanation is explanation or justification, meaning I just want it to work, or if it actually makes sense, okay? First nitpick. Gravity bombers in space. Explanation. They're close enough to the planet still that they can use the drop bombs at the beginning of the film.
No.
Justification.
Hell, that's straight up rationalization.
That's justification for sure.
That didn't make sense.
No context at all. Yeah.
They didn't even have Vernier boosters or anything.
Well, why don't you just use seeking missiles or they go off the afterburners?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And Game Guy asked, why was Yoda a puppet again? They actually recast the mold. Also, CGI Yoda looks like asshole.
Yeah.
You want puppet Yoda. Well, maybe you don't. Don't let me tell you what you want. I want puppet Yoda over CGI Yoda.
I think if we did a little bit of CGI work to puppet Yoda, it would have been fine. But I don't think Yoda should have been in this movie at all.
Okay. The next one. Force Ghost with lightning. That Yoda being the most powerful Jedi, having spent the time learning off of what Qui-Gon was able to learn about being a Force Ghost, could manipulate things.
From the dead.
Explanation or justification?
That's a justification.
Justification.
Okay. So the lightning thing was dumb?
Yes.
No.
I think it had to happen.
I'm going to I will fight every last motherfucker that says that lightning thing was stupid.
I think it had to happen.
Every last motherfucker.
But then give me an explanation that's not justification.
This was the scene. Oh no, I can't justify it in universe.
Oh, okay.
But this is another one of those things that I can justify,
from the story perspective. This has to happen. This is the only, I don't know how you get a Force Ghost to lightning.
Okay.
It just feels the lightning was dope, and Force power was cool.
I feel like it was just Yoda trolling. That's how I feel about it.
It's not.
We understand that ghosts can come back to...
because immediately after he was like,
it's
like
not,
Yoda does.
Well, Yoda did that in Empire too. Trolling. He was a goofy fucking Empire Strikes Back.
But Rey had already stolen all the books anyways, so...
Right, yes. And so, what you got?
We're not supposed to know that.
It's obvious.
You see it. You see it at the end.
You see it at the end.
You see the books in there.
But at the time, we weren't supposed to know that.
Right.
There was more going on with that scene than just simply Yoda showing up and then blasting a tree with lightning.
Right. You have literally a visage from the past. If you haven't gotten it at this point in the movie, we're literally going to pull one of the biggest characters from the past to tell you to let it go.
And it's not just for us. It's for the characters too.
It's for Luke.
It's for Luke. Because remember what happens. Luke walks up to the tree with a torch says, I'm going to burn this motherfucker to the ground. He walks right up to the entrance
and stops.
And he chickens out because he still can't let go of the
he's trapped in the
teaching.
past of how he's going to kill Ben Solo. We understand
I'm
that,
gonna
though.
ask the stupid question. Is this the realization of you need to let it go and that's why he let go?
Like, I mean, that whole, to me, that story is kind of like...
That's...
Then why the hell didn't Yoda show up, like, 30 years earlier when he lost and locked himself away and tell him that then?
Because he wasn't ready
Because
yet.
Luke closed himself off from the Force until Rey got there.
That too.
Luke was not going to be found by
But
anyone,
the reason-
Force Ghost or no.
The reason
Force Ghost,
why...
they can find you regardless.
The reason...
A fucking Force Ghost. Get your lightning. Why can't you find him if you turn yourself off of the
The
Force?
reason
In their
why
logic.
Luke separated himself from the Force was reason enough for Yoda to know that he wasn't ready to let go. Like, I saw this scene.
It just cheered. Thank you for the cheer. It just cheered for lightning.
I saw this scene from almost a theological standpoint.
Yeah.
That was why this was the one that made me cry.
The lightning tree made you cry.
Because, like, as a Christian, it's really hard for me to tell people I'm a Christian because as soon as I say that, a vast majority of people get this idea in their head of what I am
Of what
and what I believe.
Kind of belief you have, right?
And they base their operation around me off of that assumption. And what has happened here has been what I've been trying to tell everybody for years. It's that, like, as much of a Christian faith as I have, the theology has just I've been trying to expand on it. I've been trying to help it evolve as much as one person can.
Let me see if I can get sort of what you're getting at here. Not because I don't care about what you're saying. I think it's very important, but I do want to move us along a little bit.
Of course.
If what I think you're getting at is that you don't need the organization. Luke, you don't need the organization. You don't need the text. You don't need the text. You don't need the organization. You don't need the group. You just need to do the right thing.
Bingo. Yeah. Especially with Luke, because Luke was the last Jedi. Okay, guys, Luke was the last Jedi. All right. And so he should have been the one. And for a while he was, and then he like that kind of went to his head. That's why he fucked up with Kylo.
One quick. Oh no, actually, I'm going to mention that in a second. But we'll get through a couple more of these, and then I'm going to give you a minute on the mirrors wall. Okay, next one up. Laura Dern not just explaining her plan. Now, my explanation for that is that it's part of Finn's arc. Finn's supposed to go from fighter pilot to leader. That's why at the end Leia says, "Don't look at me, follow him." She literally says, "Follow him," and he's going to become a general or something, I'm guessing. But he had to, like I said earlier, Laura Dern's a stand-in a little bit for Rian Johnson. She's like, "Trust me, I don't have to explain shit to you."
Where'd she come from?
Who? Koldo?
Who Laura Dern's character?
Yeah.
She was the
You
stand-in.
mean like
for
where was she before?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
She
saying
was
you
the
can.
stand-in
Why do we have to
We
have
don't
an
have to-
explanation
yeah,
of where
we-
everything has come
She
from?
was the stand-in general, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Yeah. And this is sort of the thing is you don't need an explanation for every character. You don't need a movie for every character. There's so many moving parts here that who cares where Snoke came from? Maybe you did.
What, do you
And
need
then-
a
or maybe
movie?
you did.
Do you need
That's
a movie for Poe then? Do you need a movie for?
No,
It's like when we get to 7, he's like, "Who the fuck is that? Well, who the fuck is that? They didn't explain shit." Like, okay, you gotta introduce him somewhere,
Of course,
right?
Gotta introduce them. Gotta give me some sort of dynamic. Gotta give me something to enjoy, like follow a story from.
What you're saying is an important enough character to take that kind of a position you think you would have heard of before.
Correct.
Today. And that's absolutely fair.
Here, let me spray
I'm
some
not
more
gonna
bullshit
argue
story
with
at you. That's how I
I'm not
felt
gonna-
about it.
Luke committing suicide. So this was sort of my thing at first, which was like, he was there, he fights Kylo in a really cool scene, and that is one of my favorite lightsaber battles because it has another one of my favorite lines was when Obi-Wan in Revenge of the Sith, when Obi-Wan steps off the ship, and he's like, I actually can't remember what the line, even though it's one of my favorite ones, but it's the way that he talks to Anakin. And I get that same thing from Kylo here, is he sees Luke again, and Luke goes, "I'm sorry, I failed you." And Kylo goes, "I'm sure you are!" And that bark right there, I fucking love that line. it's just anyway. In that fight, Kylo's moving all the salt around, and Luke's not. He's not engaging him, but it's subtle. Yeah. But when Luke shifts, he doesn't disturb the salt. So he's not actually there. He's projecting himself there. And so I thought, oh, he's just projected himself there. That's cool. And then he dies. And I was like, well, he's going to die. Just make him fucking go there. But the explanation for that was they made a big deal about his X-Wing is wrecked there. He isolated himself on that island for no one to find him. He can't get off. He could have gone with Rey, but he can't get off.
He could have Yoda forced his X-Wing
and
out of the water,
and they would have all been dead by then. By the time he lifts the X-Wing, finishes building it again,
if he's
gets back out there.
If he's strong enough to project him that far across the universe, I'm pretty sure it would have been a snap of the fingers to lift that X-Wing out of the water.
Realize that killed him, right?
Yes, because it was so far away. Of course.
So, he's spitting.
I'm spitting.
He's spitting, ladies and gentlemen.
But the... Is that explanation or justification? Like, explanation, he couldn't get... That X-Wing is there, he's isolated on the island, the only way for him to do that is to project himself and reconnect for the first time in forever. Justification or explanation?
I feel like that's a good enough explanation.
I'll give you the explanation on that one.
And
I go justification.
Not good enough for you?
Nope.
Okay.
I feel like I can go deeper with that.
And Callie says, and actually you mentioned this earlier, Callie, I'm sorry I saw it and I didn't address it. Your thoughts on the possibility that Snoke isn't truly gone. I think that would be a big spit in the face if Snoke's not gone.
Oh, if Snoke comes back in the next movie,
it's just toss it away.
I'm gonna laugh.
When they were talking about how he wasn't okay with Snoke being like, "Oh, I can do all this, but I didn't see you betraying me," I would agree. Except that my theory is that Snoke isn't actually powerful. He can do a few tricks, like hand choking and shit like that, but we don't have any background on him. We don't see any of this, and I'm okay with this.
Yeah,
I'm totally okay with this. I don't need to see anything. But I truly,
a movie for every character.
Just like my theory with Luke and Leia, it's not force sensitive. It's twin.
Yep.
ESPN.
Blah, that's why
ESPN.
I did it on purpose.
Robotical Nick says justification because you don't know his X-Wing is broke. I don't know. It's fully submerged in the water.
For 40 years.
And
look at what on Yoda's planet. It was fucking submerged in the goddamn swamp.
Yeah, for like 3 days.
Yeah, but
so
also,
how long does water take to ruin electronics?
Damn near fucking immediately.
Okay.
So
40 years.
How fast did he fix his X-Wing on Yoda's planet?
Anyway,
Nick says these are all assumptions, but the thing that's not an assumption is that Luke holed himself off there with the intention of never being found again. He did not give himself an out. Like, that was the point. He wasn't going to keep the X-Wing on standby. He wasn't going to be seeing anybody again. Like, that was explained in the film. So
you see it submerged, you don't see it wrecked. But we'll move on.
Right, but the movie does tell you, though, right, that he was not going to be found, never wanted to be found.
Yep. But they found him.
Right.
So they could just...
But his intention was never to leave, right? Did the movie tell you Luke's intention was never to leave the island?
Yes. I'll say yes on that portion.
That's all I needed.
But he could still...
Oh, sure. He's a powerful Jedi. I'm sure he can do whatever he wants. But
he could hold his breath in space and fly on to the next planet.
I understand where his anger is coming from, but I also agree with you two.
Yeah.
After being submerged for 20, 30 years, it doesn't matter how advanced those electronics are. Even if he pulled it out, there would be some kind of wreckage that's irreplaceable because he doesn't have the equipment to
Like I said, he'll just hold his breath in space.
Okay. Next thing, final thing. The First Order not sending ships out when they're doing the chase. Like, send a ship ahead.
Dumb.
Now, they addressed that because they actually called their ships back, and TIE fighters have always been short-range fighters. Mm-hmm. They mentioned that in Episode 4. So my explanation, tell me if this is justification or explanation, is in 4 we learned that TIE fighters are short-range bombers, or short-range fighters. They called them back. They said, Kylo, if you stay out there, we can't protect you. So they come back, and we can't send anybody out there now. Like, our ships are too big and slow, so we can barely keep pace with them. But we can't send any fighters out because they're too far away. So, explanation or justification?
That was explained in the movie. They even said that several times.
That one is explained.
That's explanation.
Okay, so you're okay with that.
Yeah.
Besides, they knew the intimidation tactic of them just constantly barrage of cannon fire against the shields.
I would usually agree with Robotical Nick. He said Justification because the capital ships can jump ahead. I usually would agree with that, but you can actually go light speed and jump in front of them. That's not what they want to do. They want to follow short behind, but they also don't want to jump ahead because if they realize, oh, well, now they're in front of us, we'll just, light speed elsewhere.
Oh, and also something they said, Snoke can't really come back because in addition to being chopped into bits, someone went to hyperspace through his fucking ship, right?
Oh, yeah.
Not through where he was sitting.
I guess like the other ones, I guess they survived. Like the others around there survived. And there's some subtle things like that I really liked with, the way Hux like starts to like execute Kylo Ren. Like, now's my chance. Fuck, he closes it again. Like, I really love that. There's little touches in there that I really dig.
Starscream.
Okay, so the whole point is not to change your mind about this. It's just to examine what you think and why. My mind was changed on the movie by seeing it a second time and talking with people. But I didn't hate it the first time.
You actually morphed me a little bit on the Yoda lightning thing.
And some stuff. Before we go to the fan can you do a 2 to 3 minute thing on the scene with the 1,000 rays?
There is a lot of Zen that goes on in The Last Jedi. Like a whole lot of Zen. Almost everything having to do with the island, and then it's neither a good nor a bad thing, the Force is. It doesn't belong to anybody, and it is just a thing that you feel yourself becoming a part of. There's that image of the mirror is like the infinite spiral of rays, and yet they have all still led to this one point. This is her destiny.
It's sort of like a multiverse. Like, no matter what happens, you will end up this way.
Like here is the multiverse unfolding into infinity, and yet there are only milliseconds that split the actions from each other, and they all lead to the same point, which is her finally reaching out and trying to find the truth. And there's a scene like this in Empire Strikes Back, where he has a dream on Dagobah. He's fighting Darth Vader. He cuts Darth Vader's head off. The mask comes off, and it's Luke's head. That sort of thing is like the truth is like inside you. The same thing happened with Rey, because when the mirror was supposed to show who her parents were, the only thing she saw was herself.
Seeing yourself in an So yeah, that's actually almost not only a Citizen Kane reference that Joseph Nobles mentioned earlier, but also a direct reference to Episode 5.
Yeah. It's just there was a whole lot of theology and a whole lot of Zen and like Zen Buddhism almost that went into the kind of philosophy that you saw in The Last Jedi. So if some of the more spiritual, some of the more theological imagery doesn't make sense, I would suggest reading some texts on Zen. I would actually suggest reading some of the Bible if you can get yourself up to do that. There is good imagery that happens there, and I was so happy to see it so clearly reflected.
And it's something that Just Gravy mentioned, and sort of Nick also, is was that their entire fleet? Could they not have, ordered someone in? I got nothing for that. Like, fantastic question. Are there not more First Order ships out there? Like,
Justification.
I've got nothing for you. Maybe that was the whole fleet. Maybe it wasn't. I don't have any idea. I don't need that explanation. I am fine with that suspension of disbelief. Like, we can't catch them. Sure. If you don't buy that, you don't have to. But last question for you guys is whether or not you believe the story we were told about her parents. Were they really nothing special, or is she being fed lies? I hope she is from nothing. I hope that's true. Because again, that's sort of the point, I think, is that we don't need to have a movie about Skywalkers anymore. Anyone can be special. So again, at the end of the little kid,
and that's why
an award for everyone.
That way.
A little kid
Hooray.
no, not an award for everyone.
I
but
know,
anyone could. But it could be from any direction.
That's why the ending was the way it was.
So let's
I like
rephrase.
that.
You're just being a troll there.
Not everyone is special. anyone.
But anyone
is special.
could
Right.
be special.
That's what I'm
Yes.
saying. So
Yeah.
everyone gets
Yeah.
an award.
I like the
anyone
idea
makes
behind it.
fucking-
I like the idea behind it, but I truly don't believe. I feel like that was a manipulation tactic by
And
Kylo.
Dragonfly, same with me though.
Yeah.
Is with me on that with the hope though. But
I
you hope
agree.
for it, but you think that
But
she is being
I
feminized.
don't. Yes, I think she's being fed lies, and I think that he knows. He actually does know where she's come from and what has happened.
I don't think.
But I think it was a manipulation tactic on that part because
I don't.
Peter agrees with you, and he explained this to me. He says, "I think that she really did come from nothing, and
Yeah.
it's supposed to be a truce. Like, hey, you may have come from nothing, and nobody cares about you, but I do. So join me."
I think he was trying to manipulate her, but not from the lie. He said, "You came from nothing,
But
and
I care.
no one will ever love you except me," which
Yeah.
is a very common, like, predatory, relationshipy, fuckery kind of thing that people hear all the time. And so that's the manipulation, not the lie. I
But
think.
it can go either way.
Yeah.
That's why I'm hopeful. But
I'm thinking she came from nothing because if you look in the past movies from the Jedi Academy and actually Episode 1, where'd all the other random Jedi trainers
Right, they're not
come
all
from? They're all
Skywalkers.
Skywalkers.
Hell, they even
So-
said that in episode 8.
Yeah.
They're
That's
like,
what I'm saying. I think she's coming from nothing, but I think it's also stupid to have the parallel of minds between the two, Kylo Ren and her, and then be with everybody else.
Game
So-
Guy once more, Mace Windu. The Force, motherfucker, do you feel it? I love it. Last thing we do, guys, this was a fantastic explanation, and I know we didn't get to literally everything you guys put in there, but this is the thing that I appreciate about this movie and about this group here, is that we can have in-depth conversations, that we can pick apart things and go through the layers. And actually, we had a pretty good discussion without getting too randy.
I'm always Randy, Steven.
You are always Randy, that's true.
you kept it in check, and
But-
I appreciate it.
Yeah, we didn't get any full-on yelling matches, I don't think, this time. So
I had
I really
a
appreciate
crazy
it.
moment of, oh, my goodness.
You did. You had a pillow pound for a minute.
That's why the
Lauren's
pillow's
pillow
in my
pound. I'm glad that was there and wasn't Chuck's nuts. The last thing we do before we call it a night, ladies and gentlemen, is we have this thing called the fan can, and
You
I'm
need
going
a
to get.
new
I'm gonna.
logo.
I actually meant to print one off today
You
for
need to make-
season 2, but I'm gonna. People had questions to the fan can. You can redeem nerd cred, or you can tweet us using hashtag FanCan. Ask us any question. Goes in here. We pull one at random. And I'm gonna start off season 2 with one at random.
Was it deep?
I went deep,
How deep?
wrist deep,
Only wrist deep.
wrist deep.
Y'all are gross.
Okay. This says
Shit.
Fininsa Mavis.
Translate.
I'm going to translate it. I think this was a youngling that met us at an event. And I think they want to know what everybody's finishing moves would be if they were a fighting character. Chuck, what would your fatality or finishing move or ultimate be?
I would have 2.
Okay.
The first one of Sindel's fatalities from Mortal Kombat, where I just death scream so loud and just melt your face off. And the other one,
Elbow deep or nothing. Oh my god. Like you're birthing a calf.
the other one I think would probably be me doing the bit from the Avengers with the Hulk and Loki.
Yeah.
Where I just grab you by the legs and just slam you.
Oh,
to
that
the
was a good
ground,
one.
Like repeatedly.
Yeah.
Even after it goes, Chuck wins.
It
Fatality.
just keeps going.
blood.
Splurting and spraying. Lauren, what about you?
I think it would be Aliens Mortal Kombat mixed with Melina, right? The pink
Okay.
one with the size.
Yeah.
I think that's right.
So mask would come off, fangs. I would cut part of their head, spew poison,
Okay.
have it eat their brain, and then I just roll out their insides from that point on.
Jesus goddamn Christ.
Fatality.
Unbelievable. Jonathan yells friendship.
Friendship.
Dale cheered 100. Thank you for the cheer, Dale. Steve, I have a friend code for Fortnite Save the World. Yes, I will get with you on that because we do have people that want to play Fortnite Save the World.
You'll play with Daylal, but you won't play with the rest of us.
That's true. He's not playing with his friends today.
You guys just okay. Cal, what's your finishing move, partner?
Fatality.
We do have a surprise, by the way. We have a surprise coming up after the fan can. So Sarah, if you want to put it to camera 1, put it on everybody, and prep the surprise, go right ahead.
Probably I'd trap them on a deserted island and just force them with like shitty beer.
Okay, so
like
you're fighting someone like in the sewers.
Forced keg stand. I can totally see you doing a forced keg stand. Like you just produce a keg, turn him over, and it's like.
Can I also ask if you're fighting Drunken Master?
No.
Oh.
You're not Drunken Master.
I also have like Caldane yelling at him drunk too. and that's how they like Robotical Nick just taunting him while he's doing a keg stand, just making him feel worthless.
Oh Jesus!
That'd be a great way to murder someone.
Have a good night, Idris. Thank you so much for coming by. Joseph said mine would be me tripping and bumping you off a cliff.
Oh,
sorry. And Just Gravy says my fatality would be the endless paper cut.
Robotical Nick is so on point though. He gives those massive bear hugs that are like squeezing the life out of you. Oh.
And Caldane says yours would be you'd put a donut shirt on him. Friendship.
Yeah.
Hashtag donut shirt. Mine would be.
Donuts for donuts.
I'd just like start singing Whitney Houston's "And I Will Love," and then their ears would go "Love You," and then their head would go "You," and then their body would go and then legs. So it would just be like Independence Day where they explode in sequence. You know, that would be my thing. So if Sarah is back and ready, I am ready. If she's not, I will give her a minute and we can just.
Are you
chat
ready?
For a minute.
Bonesaw is ready.
Bonesaw is ready.
Daylal says mine would be YouTube help video on repeat. Trexa says her finishing move is forcing someone to date Sam. You're in a relationship with Sam, and you become dead inside.
I'm dead inside.
Okay, to celebrate season 2, this is made by Sarah and Tip of the Icing.
Wow.
This is a Gutter Nerds logo cake.
That's awesome.
And so this is something I got for us all. I wish I could share with you guys. I really do, and I can't.
No, he doesn't.
But you can look at it, which is really fucking cool. I don't want it to like slide off or anything. But our Gutter Nerds 2 season 2 logo, like done all beautiful like.
That's awesome.
On this cake. Isn't that fucking cool?
That's fucking awesome.
Sarah does do custom cakes. So if you guys have like literally anything that comes to mind, wedding cake, crazy cake, bring some to PAX. Yeah, I don't know if it'll last that long. No. But you do have
to PAX.
If you were in the DFW area, you can order custom cakes from her at Tip the Icing, and I will tag her in social media stuff so you can find her. She is bringing cupcakes to PAX. She is. That's right. I forgot about that. Da-da-da-da. So next week we're gonna talk about PAX.
Whose body and liver is ready for PAX?
Jeez. My liver's not.
Bonesaw is ready.
Get it ready.
I hope it has embarrassment and disappointment for filling. Is OKC in the Dallas metro area?
No.
You'll have to ask Nerdez. Yes, so we'll be back next week to talk about PAX. Guys, we are going to have a meetup, and I have a tentative place. I may have to shift it because it may be 21 and up, and so that I may need to shift it a little bit.
Is this edible?
But oh yeah, the whole thing's edible. You can.
You're a savage.
Go.
No.
But we will be back next week. We will see you if you're at PAX South 2018. Let us know. Tweet us. We'll let you know when the meetup is Saturday night at 8 p.m. Right now it's at Drink Texas, which is on the Riverwalk. I may shift it just so it's not if it's 21 and up, but that's the plan right now. But it is going to be Saturday at 8. So put aside that time. Come by, say hi. If you're a subscriber, I may have a pint glass to give you while we're there. So there you go. And I will. My name is Steven.
Calvin.
Lauren.
Chuck.
And we'll see you next week.